Now, do you remember this face that I created in my last video? Well, I had a step-by-step how to draw a face, and so I set that aside, and now I'm going to make a full journal. And what I usually do is I start off with the background. I sometimes use gesso as a base for my onto a piece of cardstock, as you see me doing now. And then I add inexpensive folk art paint. I've used a few colors here. You can also use heavy-bodied acrylics as well, or fluid acrylics. So I'm just basically smooshing on some of the paint colors onto the background, and I'm leaving the middle section white. Now with the paintbrush, I'm blending in the edges a little bit. And next I'm taking a paper towel and I'm just scrubbing off some of the paint. The whole idea is to blend in parts of the paint into the background. Now I'm adding a little bit more gesso to the edges, just to mute it a bit. Now here we have a piece of candy wrapper that I'm cutting out into a heart shape. There you go, now I've got a heart shape. And I'm kind of deciding where the placement will be. I've taken a recent journal page that I printed off with my printer that I quite liked, and I've decided to cut out the hat here. It says, "Be who you are." It's from a Dr. Seuss quote. And I thought it might be kind of fun if I use the hat in this new journal page that I'm creating. I often repurpose old journal pages that I printed off. So there, I've got the hat on, and I'm just checking it out. Sorry, the hand's in the way. I'm trying to decide where the hat should be, the placement of the hat. Now, what I'm using is Mod Podge to glue down certain elements of this collage. I use the border from that Dr. Seuss page that I just showed you, where I got the hat from, and I just cut it out and I'm putting it at the top of my art journal page. I've just used Mod Podge to adhere it. I've also cut out the little arrow, which I thought was kind of cute and funky, and I'm gluing that up and pasting it down as well. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this girl down, right down here, and I cut out that hat that you saw me cutting out earlier. I'm going to glue that on top of her head there, and I cut out a piece of candy wrapper here, and I'm going to be gluing that down here too. I'll be right back. I've glued the face and the hat to the page, and I'm using a few more collage elements to spiff up the hat a little bit. I've got another little tiny heart that I've cut out of the candy wrapper. I'm adding that to the hat. And now we're on to the lettering. Lettering is such fun. I love using some curlicue lettering that I've kind of invented myself. And I've just done very weak lines, and then I actually thicken in the lines too, so that they're a little bit more visible. Like I mentioned, this is the fun part, the lettering and the embellishments. I'm actually adding some embellishments to the hat, little spirals. Now I'm on to the word love, and just like I did before, I put in a very faint lettering, and then I thickened in the lines with my micron pen. And now I'm using a Zig poster pen, I think it's called Poster Man, just to add a little bit of fun to the lettering. I've colored in some of the holes in the letters, and I've also used a white Sino, I think it's called a Sino pen. You can also use a white paint pen to spiff up the letters, like I said, and I've added some embellishments around the heart. And adding some now to the border at the top of the page. With the Derwent pencil, I'm thickening in some of the lines around the edges and darkening them in a little bit. Now I'm writing Juliana's name. Juliana is the person who won my a contest, my Gemini birthday contest on my blog, and I'm writing her name. I had to write it backwards because I'm doing it in shrink art, and what you do is you do the felt penning, the permanent pen on the rough side of the page, and just put it on top and then ink it up. So I'm going to ink it up and I'll be right back. I used ordinary Crayola pencil crayons to color a bit of the design. I just colored the outer edge. Now when it shrinks, this is the side that you're going to see, and it shrinks about, I think it's a third of its size, so you've got to make it way bigger than you want it to be. So let's pop it in the oven and see what happens. Now here it is out of the oven. It's shrunk down quite a bit, as you can see, and I don't know if I told you, but I poked a hole. I punched a hole right in the corner here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to the page over here. I poked a couple holes and I've got a bit of embroidery floss there, so I'm going to tie on this Juliana tag onto the page and then I'll be done. So there it is. I've attached it with a bit of embroidery floss. This is the size of the name before I shrunk it in the oven. See how much of a difference it is? Look at that. Big difference. So you've got to factor that in whenever you're using shrink art. I'm just going to show you the back of the page. There, just to tie a little knot on the back. So there you have it. Hope you like the page.